A flaming stone from out the blue back in video 102. So what's up, everybody? I'm coming back. So I decided to do something different in this video. I'm sitting here in the King area, I like to be in the King area because that's where I live. And so, I want to go back and review this rune magic process that we've been going through. I don't know how many people have been watching it since the beginning, but I would just like to talk about the experiences that I've had with this, and hopefully someone may hear this and understand that it's real and that it works, and that it's a way that you can take control of your own mental patterns and basically create change in the outer world. I can testify to that through my life, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So basically, I've always been into runes and letters since I was a little kid. I can remember being, maybe 6 or something and doing like cryptography type stuff. You know what I mean? I could write letters, like my parents taught me and showed me to write letters before I even went to preschool or anything. And it was always super easy for me, you know what I mean? So we all have skills like that. Everyone may have different set of skills, but that's one of the skills that I've had all throughout life. And my faith is that we all have skills like that. And it's it's an activity that we do effortlessly without being told, without being taught. You know what I mean? Something that we really like, to where we like doing it so much that even if people try to forbid and prevent you from doing that, you will continue on at it. And that's what music and languages has always been like for me. So, I believe there's, anything can be magical, first of all. Like, as I said before, the only thing that's really required for manifestation and magic is willpower. That's it. But you can train your willpower in different ways. And, I feel it's kind of this yin-yang thing. Like, on the one hand, you need to be able to consciously structure everything and, like, solidify it down into a design. Like, let's take some of these binderings that I've been working with. These are just ideas, right? They're just ideas that that I'm working with. It's not like necessarily anything. It's just something that I'm working with. They're little puzzle pieces that I'm manipulating. And, like, for instance, something that I've done all my life for so long is there's certain drawings that I'll just do like over and over again, and after a while you get kind of good at them. You know what I mean? It's like each day can be a little different. Like, if you have this kind of basic setup and you just continue on working with it, sometimes it can even just be fun little doodles and stuff. You know what I mean? It's imprinting on your mind. You know what I mean? And it can be anything. That's what's cool about magic, is you can do whatever you want. And as it goes, you'll see the results of your effort. Like, you'll see, how these little thought forms will like evolve and so on. And like, it just has a life of its own in a crazy way. But I think I told some stories about this prosperity magic, that I've been working with, and some of the results and like really intense like coincidences and things that I'm getting. So I won't go over that again. I'm just showing little doodles that I've been working on. I've always been interested in these things, and like, it sculpts you. The mind is malleable, and our consciousness is highly malleable. You know what I mean? You can imprint it at will. And it has strong power. It has really strong power. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to go too much all into that. But I just want to introduce this concept in people's mind, that this can have power. And like, especially when I was 17 or 18, I started getting really into symbolism and studying it. And honestly, out of everything I've ever done, symbolism is the most powerful gateway to knowledge. And that includes not just like, art and things and words, not just these things, but like also ideas, myths, right? Like mythical stories and so on. These archetypes like take a life of their own in our consciousness, you know what I mean? And so for me, it's all about getting back to this like Edenic type condition, you know what I mean? Because I love nature. And when I go outside, when I climb a mountain or go out in a pine forest or something like that, and just the smells and the animals and watching all these colorful birds and everything like that. To me, why isn't everyone doing that all the time? Like, I don't understand. This is what I cannot figure out. And so this is what I've been working with. And as I introduced this concept of the Babylon mind and what that's all about, and I wrote some songs about it, and a lot of poetry and things over a long time period, you know. So it's this thought form that I've been building up. And so when I look around at the world around me, you know, and I see what's going on, I have really strong ideas about why it's happening and how it can be fixed. And part of it is taking our will, you know. Every individual, we all have will, and if we can cooperate, you know, this is why I'm so grateful for all my friends that I've gained. Okay, so that was a key part of this process that I did early on with the rune work, was I was trying to create this bliss network. I don't know, people may have watched that video, you know. It's for prosperity and partnerships, you know. And like, I just did this grid and tried to put joy into the grid. Just as simple. It was just off the cuff, you know what I mean? But lo and behold, I don't know, maybe a month or 6 weeks later, I get up every morning now, and it's been building and building. Okay, so I get up every morning and I'll go on, and I keep talking to Johan. He's one of my really good friends. Shout out to Johan. He's giving me so many good ideas, and it's like this mutual like loop. Like, I'll give him stuff and he'll give me stuff, and we just like back and forth like that. And then that's just one example. There's other people that I do that kind of thing with as well. But like, when you put your energy into it, okay, that's what I was saying with this rune work. You start out with just something simple, just draw it and focus your mental energy, or chant. I really like chanting, you know. And so but the point is, and I've heard this process described by rabbis and by, you know, I don't know what you would call them, shamanistic practitioners or whatever. Tantric Buddha is a big thing that I'm in with. And they talk about it, how you give the offerings of the senses. And what it is you're offering your mindfulness and your focus and your awareness. And that in itself is an offering. You know, you can do physical offerings as well. And, you know, it's really great that if they have a symbolic resonance with the effect you're trying to produce, you know what I mean? Or something that's really personal and connected with you, that you have a special affinity with, you know what I mean? And I've had things where I go out to do a ritual and I'll find things randomly on the way there that's like the perfect thing. Like, you can't even imagine the synchronicities that come out if you continually do this, right? So this is what we're working with. Okay, so I was talking about the Bliss Network. That manifested. It's manifested so hard, like I couldn't even tell you. And I've been putting these images and these ideas that I've had all throughout since I was probably 11 or something. I've been bringing them out and showing them, putting them out there and showing people. And as I do that, like, all these tumblers and these little wheels are unlocking in my mind, and everything's just this crazy matrix, like connecting decades of research that I've been doing. Like, I'm making more breakthroughs with it lately on a day-to-day basis. And it's like, I don't even have to try at this point. I just get up, and as soon as I go somewhere, it's right there. It's already right there. Like, this good friend that I have, you know, he was moving out in his storage, and I go over there and I'm talking to him and I'm telling him about all these Nart sagas, right? So he randomly has this comic book from like 1972 or something, right? And it's about Southern California. And it's basically the Nart sagas adapted into 1970s like comic book, which is crazy. That's so random, like something so specific, and it just comes right into my day, you know, with effortless. This is how reality works. And I also referred in previous videos about how the continuity between the day cycle and the night cycle starts to arise. And like, I'll dream at night about what I do during the day, and I'll see previsions of what's going to happen the next day, and like, you know, little signposts and like things that guide me forward to what I'm trying to go for, you know. They'll just appear effortlessly, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm trying to stay, you know. I'm trying to stay in the King area over here, you know, the King area. It's a good place to be. That way you create at will. So, you know, I live in Southern California, and we got a lot of masked zombies, you know. They're triple masked, double. I see this. And people, it's so I wasn't going to talk about this, but I have to illustrate it, okay? So I love to go out to the beach and the forest and stuff. And so I'll go out and I'll see someone, 100 yards away down the road, and they'll have no mask, right? But when they get up close, then they put on the mask, even though I'm not wearing a mask. You know what I mean? What's the psychology in that? Like, I really don't understand this person's thought process. You know what I mean? Well, first of all, I paid attention in 7th grade biology class when they taught us how viruses work and stuff like that. I actually paid attention. And I spent a good, 2.5 decades of my life studying medicine and microbiology because I love it and it's fascinating to me. And so I never believed in any of the hype from day one. And I was like, oh, well, I have 10 or 11 things in my car that are antiviral agents that I use every single day for my skin and my body and take internally and stuff like that. Because, I like to be healthy. You know what I mean? And it's amazing and mind-boggling to me how many people in our society eat crap and garbage. Anyone can grow their own food, or you can go wildcraft and harvest food everywhere all the time. Fish, birds, like whatever you're into, snakes. Some people eat snakes. You know what I mean? This is how humans have lived for millions of fucking years. But instead, everyone wants to go buy plastic and chemicals. They think that's good. And like, you hand someone a perfectly good vegetable out of the garden, or fruit even, they'll pass it away, and they'll like turn their nose up at it and go grab like something in a plastic cellophane or like some kind of, BPA lined, And it's just, when you pay attention and you learn about science and you learn these things and you see how our society operates, it's just a total culture shock to me. And also I'm about freedom. You know what I mean? I like to be free. I don't like to be told what to do. Because you know what I found out about being told what to do when I was a little ass kid? People that tell you what to do and try to control you are generally stupid people. They're very stupid. Honestly, they are. And they're slaves to the system. And, I feel bad. I had a lot of really good teachers, in my life, but all of them were subject to the programming. Most of them, almost all of them. And even the ones that were good, they were still like trying to maintain their prestige and all this bullshit and like fit in and stuff. Like the best teachers I had and the ones I always liked were the ones that would get fired and stuff. You know what I mean? Because they were actually trying to teach us something and teaching critical thinking. To me, the lifeblood of my passion and everything that matters to me is intelligence, creativity, innovation, excellence, Excellence is the most hated thing in our world right now. I mean, look at me, I'm an Indo-Aryan, dude. I got really dark red skin. I got a lot of facial hair. I'm a fucking Viking, mixed with Danes and all these, people can't even comprehend what my ancestors have given to me to be a wild man and to be a strategist and to love intelligence and to love memorizing and to love art and beauty and originality and revolution and revolt and rebellion. That's what I love. That is what is sexy to me. You know what I mean? There's no amount of advertising and products anyone can put out that's ever going to divert me 1 degree. You know what I mean? I know what's good for me, And what I see as our mass culture is the most grotesque fetishizing one's own slavery and fetishizing victimization and fetishizing every form of non-procreative psychological abnormality is fetishized and celebrated in our culture. Luckily, Babylon is crashing. I destroyed it with my word, and I set in process its demise. I mean, it was already under a state of demise, but I fully committed my will to that. And that's what I'm here to tell you right now. Is you matter. Your words and your thoughts and your ideas and your aesthetics and what you think is beautiful and sexy and what makes you passionate and alive and fierce and fucking furious. That is what is valuable. That is wealth. That is power. That is intelligence. You have the power to crush oppression worldwide. And so that's what I'm here to do. I declare my will worldwide. I crush oppression. I free all captives. I free everyone who's in a slave mentality. I admit my intelligence. I devote my willpower. I devote the blood of my holy ancestors. I devote my time and energy and my passion to crushing oppression and supporting everyone who fights oppression.